Picture a booming city. The population is just exploding. I mean, Tanzania's urban centers alone are growing at like 5.2% every single year.
Right, so you'd expect a skyline totally filled with cranes, pouring concrete, and people moving into shiny new apartments.
Yeah, but instead, across major cities in Tanzania and Kenya, you look around and see these neighborhoods sprawling with decaying, half-finished houses. And some have literally been sitting there for 20 years.
It's a massive visual contradiction, you know. We're looking at a housing deficit of 3.8 million in Tanzania and 2 million in Kenya.
The demand is ferocious.
Exactly, yet the landscape is just littered with stalled construction projects, quietly crumbling in the sun and rain.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are uncovering a fascinating ebook that dissects exactly why this is happening to you in your cities. Like why, in a region absolutely starved for housing, are so many homes trapped in a perpetual state of almost done.
What's fascinating here is that the root of that trap is the mortgage market, or, well, really the lack of one. If you want a traditional mortgage in Tanzania, you're looking at interest rates between 15 and 19%.
Wow, 19%.
Yeah, and in Kenya, they sit around 18.5%. That completely prices out over 80% of the middle class. So people are forced to build out of pocket. You buy a few bricks when you get your paycheck, lay them down, and just wait until you have more cash.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's an economic trap. It's basically like buying a car one part a year.
Right, yeah.
By the time you save up enough money to buy the roof, the walls you built 5 years ago have already degraded from the sun and rain.
And your money is completely locked up in a useless structure that isn't housing you and isn't generating any income. Economists actually call that dead capital. Over 60% of urban land in these areas falls into this category.
60%, that's huge.
It is. It's unmeasured and untitled, largely because rapid urban migration just vastly outpaced central planning, and local surveyors couldn't keep up. Without a formal title, a bank won't touch it. You can't use the land as collateral.
I mean, I understand the banking side, but if you're 10 years into building a house you can't afford to finish, why not just sell the half-finished shell? Take whatever cash you can get to start a business or rent an apartment.
Well, because that assumes the property is viewed as a commercial asset. In many of these communities, the home is considered clan honor.
Clan honor.
Yeah, it belongs to the lineage. Selling it is a profound social violation. You risk alienating your entire extended family, or in some traditions, bringing actual curses upon yourself.
Wait, really? Curses?
Yes, so you endure the financial trap strictly to preserve your social standing.
And those traditional rules create some incredibly complex scenarios. The source highlights this tradition among the Kuria people called Nyumba Ntovu.
Oh, right, the inheritance workaround.
Exactly. If a widow doesn't have a son, customary inheritance laws often allow male in-laws to just swoop in and seize her property. So, to protect her home, the widow will legally marry a younger woman.
It's not romantic at all, it's just a strict cultural loophole.
Right, strictly to keep the property out of the hands of greedy relatives. It makes you question how oppressive gender inheritance laws force women into such extreme workarounds. Now, we're just reporting what the author outlines here, not taking a political stance, but it's a fascinating look at the lengths people go to for economic security.
It really highlights how deeply entrenched customs actively threaten their livelihoods, yeah.
So we have high interest rates, unmeasured land, and strict cultural rules. I keep thinking, if one family can't afford to finish a house, why aren't people pooling their resources? Like, 10 families could form a cooperative, build a single condominium, and each get an apartment.
You're assuming there's enough social trust for that to happen. The real estate market there is plagued by scams. We're talking about con artists taking one empty plot of land and selling the exact same deed to 5 different people.
Oh, wow. Wait, how do legitimate business partners handle it then? There have to be joint ventures happening somewhere.
Even those collapse, often over tax mechanisms. Say 2 people pool money to develop land, the land's valuation spikes. Suddenly, they're hit with a massive capital gains tax bill on that appreciation.
Before the building's even finished.
Exactly, before it's generating revenue. They argue over who pays the tax, the partnership implodes, and the project stalls. Psychologically, locals look at that chaos and decide it is much safer to just build one tiny, isolated room miles out in the suburbs by themselves,
rather than risk pooling money and losing everything. So how do we actually untangle a system where everyone is financially stranded on their own little island?
You have to adapt the finance to the reality on the ground. The ebook proposes incremental housing finance. Instead of a massive 30-year mortgage, Banks issue microloans that match the building stages, a loan just to pour the foundation.
And once that's verified, a new loan for the roof. That addresses the immediate cash flow problem. But the sources also bring up blockchain as a fix for the property scams. Instead of a paper registry where that leaves us with something for you to think about as you go about your day. Take a look at the buildings around you. If tradition, clan honor, and trust shape the skylines of East African cities more than actual money does, what invisible cultural rules are secretly dictating the architecture of the city you live in right now?